Welcome back, video 3 of our orthographic projection. So, what we want to do is we want to have these centered. So, this is an inch from here to here, this is an inch from here to here, an inch from here to here, right? Inch from here to here. So these aren't all glommed this way, or they're not glommed this way, or too close, or whatever. So what I'm doing is I'm going to draw these lines. I'm going to measure an inch up and an inch up. I'm going to draw this line faintly. Then I'm going to measure from here, and I'm going to measure up 2 1/4, because this is already an inch, and this is supposed to be 1 1/4. So it's 2 1/4, right? From this line, this would be 2 1/4. Or you could just measure from here. If that's too much math for you, from here to here, you would just measure up 1 1/4. So then I'm going to measure over here, an inch and an inch, draw this line. Then I'll measure from here down. I'll measure 4 inches. And down here, I'll measure down 4 inches. Then I'll draw this line. And then I will measure down, well, this line's already going to be here, so I'll just measure over 2 1/2 and 2 1/2 and draw that line. So this is it right here. And again, I'm going to draw faintly. I'm going to draw them faintly with guidelines. Then I'll erase what I don't need, and then I will darken it back up with this. So the first thing, I'm just going right here, 1 inch. I'm making a little mark. And then at an inch up here, I'm making a little mark. And then, because this block is 4 inches long, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 there, and I will come out down here on the bottom. Here's our 1 inch mark, and then we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4 here. So I'm lightly going to draw this end here, and lightly going to draw this, and I'll do this end here now. So this is an inch. From here to here is an inch. So I'm going to measure over an inch. Then I'm going to measure up here from our guideline. Again, this is the guideline that you drew, an inch. So I will draw this lightly here. And this one here, 1, 2, 3. So this is 2 1/2 inches, right? Because this is 2 1/2 inches. This is 2 1/2 right here. So when you're looking at this, it's 2 1/2. So from that 1 inch, I'm going to go 2 1/2 down here, make a mark, and 2 1/2 here, make a mark. Lightly draw that. So now we have these lines here, which are these lines here. Now we need to draw these lines. And these all need to be drawn at once, so they're all parallel. So now, we said before, we have an inch. We have an inch going around here. So this bottom line right here is 1 inch from this guideline, right, or from the box that we have going around. It's an inch up. So I'm going to measure 1 inch, and then this is 1 1/4, right? So then I'm going to measure up 1 1/4 and make a mark. And up here, now I'm going to measure, because I want this to be centered, I'm going to measure, I want a 1-inch border. I want a 1-inch border here, all around. Now from the top one, I'm going to measure from this line. So from the top one, I'm going to go 1 inch. And then I'm going to go to 1, 2 and a half. So 1 inch and then the 2 and a half. So it's 1 inch away from here. And then it's the 2 and a half, or it's 1 inch away from here, and then it's the 2 and a half, which is how wide this is. So now we need to do the same thing over here. I'm going over here, I'm making the 1 inch mark, and then I'm going to go 1, 2 and a half right here. And then from the bottom, again, because we've centered it, I'm just putting the 0 here, and I'm going 1 inch. Then I'm going 1 1/4. 1 1/4. So now we just connect these. Draw these lightly here, 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 here. Well, see, that one I could have drawn all the way across, just about. So it's going to go here, and then this one is also this one here. That other view, because they're all parallel. And those, I don't know if you can, yeah, it looks like you can see them. Those are the very faint lines. So now I'm going to erase all of this extra, these extra ones here. I'm going to erase the extra ones, and then I'm going to darken what's left. So, that's right. And I'll go and run over with the BBP, the big boy pencil. Darken it up. And you want, when you're doing these things, you don't want your dimensions, those arrows and lines and stuff that show the, when you're doing these, you don't want these lines thicker or even as thick as the lines of the actual object. So these are, you want these lines to be thinner, the ones with the arrows and stuff like that. You don't want them as thick as these. So you want to darken this up and don't go too crazy with the arrows and the dimensions. And these 3 views are the basic 3 views that, now that you're doing this, you'll see that almost everything is depicted. If you look in a brochure, they'll always have a top view, an end view, a side view. Doesn't necessarily have to be drawn, but you know, on the with the pictures and stuff like that. This guy here. So, those are the 3 views of here. This is the top view of this block, the front view of the block, and the end view of the block. So it's something that was 3-dimensional, and we put it down 2-dimensionally, this way and this way. You don't have the height, but you see the height over here. That's the height. There's no height there. There it is. That's how thick it is, right there. Boom, boom, boom. When that's sitting there, this view here is looking at it right here. And this view here is if you were tilted up and looking at it right here. Just like this. Boom, 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 boom. And I'll throw some dimensions on here. Oh, still recording. Sweet. So, for the dimensions, you just extend these lines out, but you don't touch. You come out around I don't know, around a quarter of an inch, between an eighth and a quarter of an inch. So I'm starting out here, an eighth and a quarter of an inch. See here, there's a little gap between an eighth and a quarter. Again, these have to be perpendicular, completely parallel, right, for this to work. So I'm coming out there, and we have to show, you look at it, you have to show every dimension. So this here is 4 inches, and this is 4 inches, so I'm just gonna put them both on. I'm gonna put them both on this one. And so 4 inches is shown here, 2.5 is here. So this 2.5, we see it as 2.5. So the one that we're missing is the height of it. So we're gonna have to either put 1 1/4 on this one or 1 1/4 on this one. And just for symmetry purposes, I'll line it up with this. I'll put the 1 1/4 on this one. So here's the arrow here. It's almost right on my line. So I'm going there, stop in the middle, leaving a space for a number, coming here, stopping, leaving a space for a number in the middle, right here. So I've left room for numbers. And I need to put this guy here on this one. So this is 4 inches long, 4, 2.5 wide, 2 1/2, 1 1/4 thick, 1 1/4. So now you got to do the little arrows, and don't go crazy with them. This is something that can ruin your project if you go crazy with the arrows. You want them all, pick a size and then make them all the same size. There's actually templates and stuff where you can trace your arrows, because people go and they ruin a good drawing with lousy arrows. So okay, guys, I think that's it. This is what you need to have done by this Friday. And what you'll do is you'll take a picture of it and then email it to me, or turn it in on the Google. If there's a way to turn it in on the Google, I'll figure that out later. But worst case scenario, you'll just take a picture of it and email me the picture. So 3 views. The dimensions, again, you don't have to have a dimension here, because this you know that this is the same as this. So it's 2.5, we know it. You don't need to have a dimension here because it's 1 1/4. It's right here. This is it. So next week we're going to go and take some chunks out of this. And when you take a chunk out of it here, what does it look like here? What does it look like here? And then we're going to do one with hidden lines and stuff like that. And then the culminating one will be you draw something yourself with 3 different views. So I hope everything's going okay, and I will hopefully talk to some of you guys tomorrow during Google Hangout. I'm sure you guys all know what's going on with that. Oh well, talk to you later. Bye, thanks.